I think there's something going crazy right now, but the manufacturing or non-manufacturing PMI report came out, and I'm trying to see what exactly happened. Market sold off on it flat on the day now, 0% for the S&P. Still up a quarter percentage for the Nasdaq. But let me go ahead and take this screen share.
Well, I'll tell you what, today is one of those days where I don't think we're going to have like a horrible day or anything, but it's just one of those days where I really do like being on the sidelines already on overnight options.
Oh, nice.
Got the even on a very small opening move this morning, hit the profit target, got out on the sidelines. I don't think we're going to get some horrible move or anything, but it's just nice. You're on the sidelines. You made your money for the day on overnight options. What does that put us, Mike? We had the loss on Friday.
I was gonna say, what is your
21 for 23, Mike? Maybe something like that on overnight options. I actually think we're going to give. I haven't talked about overnight options a lot because I've been so focused on the income machine and some other things. So I think we'll actually talk a little bit about it today and just why that's been working so well. It's another one of those strategies that really automatically adjusts to volatility because of the way that the option structure actually works. So that's really nice as well. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. If any of you guys are not hammering those overnight option trades every day, looking for a little extra income, I'd love to have you on board doing that. So remind me to revisit that here at the end.
and Nate, the really cool thing about what you're doing there is that we've seen over the last weeks and months a lot of fades intraday. So the markets will open higher. Like for example, today they opened higher and then they sell off from there. Luckily, with the way you're trading the overnight options, right? It just like today you filled at the open, and so it doesn't really matter if we get that fade intraday.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't really matter at all what happens from here, which is a good place to be right now.
That's awesome. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get rolling with the normal Tuesday market outlook. We'll do some trading today as well. And we'll take a look at the markets. Right now, the markets are selling off the ISM non-manufacturing pricing report. So we'll take a look at that. But Telegram of the week, just a little fun one here. And again, I'm going to remind you of something, but we did, Nate, last week on Thursday, we did a wrap order training. We ended up looking at some earnings names for fun at the end and said, hey, where's one we could go out of the money, get a little bit bigger of a return if we get a nice pop. Reddit was the one we went with. Ended up doing about 260%. Now, if you guys looked at Reddit stock on earnings, it popped like crazy. I don't know the exact number, but I think $20, $30 on it. However, I looked at the call options and we beat every single call option overnight.
Wow.
The stock was up 10, 20%, and our utilization of the spread out earned every single call option out there, which is insane considering that it was a better than expected move for the stock and we still outperformed.
Is anyone still holding Reddit from when I gave it out by chance? Kind of during the middle of that drop, maybe around 120 bucks a share when I gave out Reddit. I basically projected that I think they would kill the next earnings because they added that premium model in, kind of the same playbook as Netflix, where everyone said making it stricter and raising the prices and making the multiple accounts everyone pay. They basically said, that's going to kill Netflix's business. Everyone only does it because it's cheap and they can share logins. And then Netflix just murdered earnings. They sold off when they first announced it. Everyone said the stock is dead. And they just murdered earnings on the actual numbers when they came through. Looks like Reddit did the same thing. Of course, I gave out that play, and then I think I sold Reddit at like 140 bucks. So wish I was still holding it.
That's awesome. Well, this is just a one-time earnings play for a little overnight move. Worked out good. So that's our Telegram post of the week. On the open trades here, kind of a mixed bag. I mean, I'm slightly up on the opening playbook trades. We'll see how that QQQ one ends up. It was up like 125% on Friday with that quick market drop. And it's just a kind of a hedge play. You guys know that. It's just a little bit of insurance for the portfolio. But other than that, kind of a mixed bag as we're getting volatility coming back, but not an overall real sense of direction. So for the morning market update, let me go ahead and update this now, which Nate, I can do with using a portion of the screen here, which I otherwise would not. So here's where we're currently at in the stock market again. S&P was up a quarter percentage in the futures markets overnight. And now it's flat slash slightly down, with the IWM and QQQ still up above, still higher. And we do have some more earnings names coming out today, which will be interesting to see how the NASDAQ responds. I've got Nate, I'll show you, but my retirement account, which the one I can't contribute to anymore, so I kind of just trade speculatively. I've got a split between AMD and ANET, which both have earnings today. So that'll be a fun one. We'll see
Nice.
what happens. But again, like we've been saying, the markets a lot of these days where they pop higher, they fade during the day. So if we get a nice pop, might sell in the aftermarket. We'll see. As far as and I'll update this too, but the economic reports for this week, we just had the non-manufacturing PMI come out with one better than expected, one worse than expected. The market sold off immediately on the news, went from positive on the day to slightly negative on the day. I'm getting a bearish momentum reading today for the intraday price movement, and we'll see how things shake out. And then later this week, the 10-year note auction, we'll see how what the rate comes in at that. I know the last few have been weaker than expected, which isn't great for the US. We'll see how that one happens. And then Thursday, we have the 30-year bond auction. Both of those are in the afternoon at 1 p.m. And then jobless claims in the morning on Thursday. Oh, and I forgot to let me finish this up, and then I'll bring back my original thought that I never closed the loop on. Next week, bigger week, much bigger week. We have CPI on Tuesday. That's the number one report well, one of the number one reports for making interest rate decisions. That's our inflation, our key inflation report. That's coming Tuesday morning before the markets open. And Thursday, PPI, another very important one. The other big reports are the jobless reports and the employment reports, which, man, it's as confusing as ever on what the actual numbers are. We'll hear one report and then hear a couple weeks later it's been revised. And not just like slightly revised by a couple hundred jobs here and there. We're talking like 80% of the report gets changed. So hopefully we get some clarity there. Hopefully the Fed gets some clarity as well. And we can make it through this time without seeing a massive recession or drop off in jobs. Uh, for the charts of the week, I'm going to show you a few, and then Nate, I'm going to end on one that's really fun that you'll enjoy. First one is I showed you guys this last week, but this is just showing implied volatility for August is expected to increase from what we saw in July. We've got quite a few big news events, right? We just talked about the ISM report, the CPI earnings. We got NVIDIA still coming up, a bunch of earnings throughout the whole month. So increase in volatility. That's good typically for my daily move. Also good for anyone using income trades, taking advantage of premium decay. This will be a nice month for getting paid, hopefully. We also see seasonally that volatility spikes in July going into August, but August is typically the biggest month for volatility in the stock market. That is also good if it's bad for folks buying options, good for folks doing the debit spreads, the wrap orders, the elite trades, the jump trades, overnight options, all sorts of action that we use here, the 60-minute income trade, because we get to offset a lot of that volatility and really get probably better odds while trading it. But with that said, again, for directional trading, typically things get a little bit more rocky in August and September. Makes sense here why gold typically goes up during August and September. July, August, September is seasonally the most bullish, well, one of the most bullish periods of the year for gold, and it makes sense if the market is getting weak or fearful, they go to safety, which gold is seen as safety. So there's a fun chart for you there on gold. Now, when we talk about safe haven assets, we used to never talk about Bitcoin in the same sentence. This year, that's sort of started to change, but we'll see if it's still just a true risk on asset or if people do fly to Bitcoin in safety. I still can't wrap my head around us being there yet, but I know in the last drop we saw it actually hold up better than the Nasdaq did. In return back to it held up really really well even while the markets were dropping. With that said, August and September are historically one of the weakest months for Bitcoin. Here you can see, look down here, like this is 12 years of data. Average return, August, mostly flat. September is the worst month for Bitcoin, seasonally speaking. And you can see the median here, both of them negative. So just keep in mind that this is historically not the most bullish time for crypto. With that said, I do not think we're at the end of the cycle yet. I think we might see a cool off, which is very typical. But I do not think we've seen the peaks for Bitcoin before the next crypto winter. I think that's going to come. Look at this. August and November, or October and November. Let's take a look ahead here. What do you guys see? The two best months for Bitcoin, seasonally speaking, by a mile. So August and September may be slower seasonally. History doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. Might see that again this year, but let's not write it off for the full year if that happens. October, November, I think that's where we're going to see the peak of this bull market here in Bitcoin. I do still have the IBIT spread open, yes. I have AMD and ANET, yes, and those are playing today. So I'm just looking at the chat now. How is the 60-minute income trade doing? Doing great. Hit another winner yesterday. We got one open right now. Looking nice. Okay, we'll keep on rolling here. For earnings, again, we have a big earnings week coming up. One of the bigger ones. We just did this one last week with 37% of the stocks reporting earnings. This is another big week with 14% of stocks. Today, after the bell, we have AMD, we have SMCI, we have ANET, we have Open, we've got Rivian. A lot of fun names today. Now, like I mentioned earlier, in my very, very speculative account, one that it's a retirement account that I can no longer contribute to. So I can't deposit anything, so I'm just going to see how crazy I can grow it. I did split it up between AMD and ANET for earnings today. I have no clue how that's going to go. I just am very bullish on both companies, and if they both go well, should see a 10% or so spike in the account. That's stock only on those. Just a little heads up for you guys. Again, I'm not saying you should do that. I'm not saying I have any high conviction play on it. I just like them both right now, and I'm bullish on both of those stocks. Now, with that said, Nate, is Wednesday our day? For the
I have officially committed to the team my availability and my schedule. So I would say Wednesday is our day, which is tomorrow.
All right, folks. Tomorrow, starting tomorrow, we're going to start doing the closing playbook. So we'll still do the opening playbook at 10 a.m., but we're going to also add in another slot. It's not going to be as lengthy as the opening playbook. It's going to be more actionable, quick market trading there going into the close. It'll be at 3:30 p.m. Eastern starting tomorrow, and then every single day. Of course, guys, give us some grace as we get the ball rolling. If we skip a day, give us some grace. But we want to get it going, just like opening playbook, every single day, just before the close, looking for some live trades, some live action. Who is in? Go ahead and post in the chat. I'm sure everyone who can make it will be there. And the reason I'm really excited about starting it this week is because we get it started during we're still in the meat of earnings season. So we'll be able to have some fun looking at some of these names. So tomorrow going into the close, we have Fortinet. I love trading Fortinet on earnings. I am no earnings whisperer. I don't know everything about every company out there, but I do know that there are some good ways to trade some of these companies. Fortinet is one of them that we've seen an edge on over the years. DraftKings is another fun one to trade. And so we'll be able to watch some of those names together. Again, it's a lot of fun doing this during earnings season, kicking it off Thursday. Remember, I said XYZ, formerly known as Square. That's been a fun one to trade. Pinterest, fun one to trade on earnings. Take Two has been fun to trade. Twilio has been fun to trade.
Actually, TTD Trade Desk there is another one that I traded last earnings. Huge implied moves typically on that one as well, bit of a sneaky one. So lots of good stuff there.
So we're going to have some fun, guys. Again, closing playbook starts tomorrow. We're going to try and do that every single day. It's not always going to be me and Nate both. Sometimes we'll rotate. We're also going to probably introduce you guys to some other traders as well to give you their insights on the closing market conditions. But again, mark your calendar. Go ahead and do that now. 3:30 p.m. Eastern every single day. Nate, are we going to need a new logo for that? Or are we just going to use the opening playbook logo?
I already created the new logo.
Oh,
It
wow.
exists. It's in there.
What about
It's
the
basically the same, just with the closing words. It's in a little schedule that I put together for us that we're working on rolling out. So I'm pretty pumped about just like I said, I think Graham and I mentioned at the beginning of the year, like one of our goals in 2025. I mean, you guys know the drill. Like Graham and I create services. We want to get paid for our time. We want to give you guys an edge. We want you to join the stuff that we have. I mean, we'd love for you guys to be all access members of everything we have. But we also want to really pump the free value. Like we really sat back this year and said, like, what can we do to be value forward, to give as much insight as we can for free, to teach for free, and for the people who want to take the extra step and be part of our actual systems and services. Awesome, great. We love that. We want that. But we really want to try to, put as much as we can out there because the truth is we're doing all this anyway. We're trading all the time anyway. We're looking up stats all the time anyway. We're testing, we're finding out stuff. And so that's was our goal this year. And hopefully you guys feel like we're over delivering so far. But closing playbook will be our next iteration of doing that.
Yep. So that'll be awesome starting tomorrow. And again, lots of names, lots of fun. Remember this one that I read to you guys backwards last week? That I reread it and said, you know what? I think I read that wrong. The moves this earnings season are just bigger in both directions than they typically are. So that just means more fun for us. We saw it a little bit with Reddit. You know who we did not see it with was Apple. Oh my word, that was the most boring
Boring, I know.
earnings event ever. I can't believe I have to stick up for that stock. I'm the perfect Apple trader, and here I am just waiting for it to do something. Like, come on, guys, come on. But one day. But most stocks are either outperforming or underperforming the usual moves on earnings. So there's just a lot of volatility and hopefully some money to be made. For the market overview, last class I told you guys I'm going to not give you guys an exact prediction. I'm not going to say higher or lower or flat. I'm just going to say it's not going to be flat. It's going to either go way up or way down. And what came next? We saw that break, and I should really adjust this more like this. A big break to the downside, where we copped up pretty much all of the July gains in a matter of 2 days on the stock market. And then, obviously, if I update to today, we're really right where this arrow is. So you guys can see the volatility we were talking about headed into August. And here we are on August 5th, and it's already happening. So the question is, where do we go from here? Well, this is an interesting one. This is our fear and greed index, just using market internals to say, hey, are we overbought, oversold, or somewhere in the middle? We've been right about here, 75, 76 on the extreme greed front for weeks now. Just with this small little blip here, we're already almost went back to neutral. Very, very close. Previous close was neutral. So if you look at Friday, it went to neutral in just one down day. Another interesting thing is we saw the put to call ratio spike above our buying level of puts. Went above one, which typically means that puts are a little bit overbought right now. We could see a market snap back. So again, already off just a small, relatively speaking, small drop, we've seen things, move back to normal where they look like, hey, things are actually still pretty healthy. Now, I'm not saying that there won't be any more drops this month. Actually, we'll give you a prediction here that I don't think we're done dropping this month. But I just want to show you that how strong this market is. The internals cooled off so quickly, even when the markets barely went down, which is good for us. It means the bulls can gear back up and keep the party going. Now, this next part is cool. I've been showing you guys this for a couple of weeks. The percentage of stocks above the 50-day moving average. I said we are hitting some support here. Uh, it could go higher from here. I was expecting a break lower. I think I showed you this for about 2 weeks. And I also showed you the percentage of stocks above the 200-day moving average. I said I expect the 50-day moving average stocks to break lower and kick us down here to the support line on the stocks above their 200-day moving average. Basically meaning I expect a lot of stocks, not every stock, not the great stocks like GV, which can't even find its 200-day moving average on the chart, but the average stock to maybe take a little breather and come back down to its 200-day moving average level. And if you look at what happened this week, well, here's the percentage of stocks above their 50-day moving average. Fell through that support just like what we talked about last week. And where did the percentage of stocks above the 200-day moving average go? Right to that support line as well. So I think that's, again, this very, very healthy market move. And the S&P really didn't give up that much ground to make it happen, which is very, very good for us, in my opinion. It's a bullish scenario. So just good to see things cooling off, looking healthy across the board, even as the markets hold strong. Seasonally speaking, you guys know this by now. August, September, two worst months of the year for trading directionally. If we look at the presidential pattern, you'll see that same story reflective. August, rocky start, drop later in the month. September, pretty much straight down. And then as we go into quarter four looks very different. Quarter four looks like a lot of fun. But for the next 2 months, 60 days or so, we're just gonna have to be more selective and just smarter with our position sizing. Think about it this way: would you rather go all in now and then the markets do correct, uh, and you're in pain going into August, or my opinion is, would you rather just trade smarter, maybe trade lighter in August, September, And then if the markets do correct, you have plenty of capital ready to go at it in quarter four. That's kind of how I'm viewing this market right now. Here's just another view of that same chart I showed you. This gives you the seasonals by month. You can take a screenshot if you want of this, but you can see the dark blue is since 1950, so that's about 75 years. Light blue is 20 years, orange 10 years. This is just average S&P gain during each month of the year. Now this gray one is pretty interesting. That's the post-election years. So that's what we're seeing here. If you want to see it quantified in a graph, August actually is maybe the worst month, seasonally speaking. So you won't see that here in the average S&P month or average S&P August. But if you look at just post-election years, you can see how bad that typically is. Again, this does not guarantee that we're going to see a drop in August, but it is a good guide as to what might happen, what could come. So my upcoming prediction is we're going to see more volatility. We're going to see markets move both ways. We might even see new market highs, but I do think we are going to see a 5% drop at some point this month. So not a 1-2% drop. I think at some point this month, and it could catch us by surprise, we are going to see a 5% drop. Which again, Nate, that's why I love what you shared last week about the two-way options thing. I think that's really just perfect for this timing. And it kind of reminds me of market action like this. Again, it's not going to happen this exact way. I don't think we're going to, necessarily come all the way down to the 200-day moving average, but we might see a big drop, big pop back, big drop, pop back. You guys just see what I'm talking about here? Just increased volatility, bigger candle sizes. So like, look at these candle sizes: small, 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 much bigger candle sizes, bigger days, bigger intraday moves, but just a little bit of volatility in both directions. And again, my big bold claim here is that we are going to see a 5% drop in the month of August at some point. Alrighty. Oh, nice. Up 17% on 60 minutes. David, you already hit your target on 60 minute? Sorry, just reading these questions here. Charles, we need to close above. That's why. Wow, David, nice job. All right, we'll keep on chugging along. Oh, wow. Yeah, I wish I was here. I told you guys in the masterclass yesterday, you're not supposed to watch the trade. You're supposed to set it and forget it and go to the gym and get some coffee and everything we showed you. But then I jokingly told you guys I love watching it too. It's a lot of fun. All right, let's keep on chugging along. Seasonally speaking for August, the sector's mixed bag, not so good. It would be great if we could pull this data actually for president first term years. That would be awesome to see. Maybe that's something I can look into. But typically, you guys know tech, really led by semiconductors, and utilities and real estate are the only positive sectors, seasonally speaking, for the month of August. Those are the only strong sectors. So for the sectors, last class, I just told you it's not a time to be going heavy, all in, bullish on any trade, in my opinion. I think that's a very risky time. The upside from here is minimal compared to the downside at the current moment, in my opinion. I said XLK is the only one I really like. Industrials, discretionary, you can maybe dabble in them. Materials, I don't like. If I was looking for one to short, it was going to be materials. Well, if we look at the week over week change, tech held strong. XLU kind of popped out of nowhere. But tech held strong, and look at materials, dropped 2 spots. So again, I'm just going to say the same thing this week. Not a time to be going all in heavy on bullish swing trades. My favorite sector right now is technology, specifically the semiconductor stocks. Sorry, let me pull up my Thinkorswim. Oops, there we go. Oh, there you go. My 60-minute income just hit. Perfect. That was a quick one. We talk about chip stocks. Let's look at these right now. XLK, let me pull that up. It's the top sector. Look at that intraday fade there. But really, my favorite stocks right now, NVIDIA, it's probably down slightly today, down 1% today. NVIDIA, AVGO, those are the two strongest chip stocks right now. We have AMD today, earnings after the bell. And those are the main ones I would go with. If you want to have something more speculative, SMCI also has earnings after the bell. But again, very, very speculative one there. The sectors here in between, I've also added real estate to the mix. We know real estate is seasonally strong. It has not been very strong with the interest rates holding higher for longer. You guys probably know that it's been a weak sector, but I've just thrown that in the mix as something you may want to consider. And then still XLB materials as my favorite one to go short. Any questions here in the chat so far?
Just a
Mark,
lot of people talking about how they made money on 60-minute income mainly.
that's great. I love it. I heard my thing go ding, and so I had to look at my account. My SPX doesn't hit though, for anyone curious. It's at 43%. SPX, or so this is one of those rare days where XSP actually beat SPX.
Oh yeah. By the way, good question from Dave. We got a couple questions because we posted that thing about testing the new platform today. We actually ran into a little glitch. We switched back to Zoom, and we will be testing it tomorrow. So tomorrow, when you log into Opening Playbook, should look a little bit different with our new setup. So keep an eye out for that, and also give us feedback. As always, just be patient with us. It'll be brand new test. Probably have some glitches and some struggles along the way, but that you should see that tomorrow.
And if I can jump in, I just posted a link for closing playbook tomorrow. It's not quite ready yet. If people click on it, it'll take them to that new platform, but it'll say opening playbook. It'll be closing playbook by tomorrow. So that link is just an early grab for everybody who's here today. It'll be taking them to closing playbook tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Perfect. Thanks, Dave. Yeah. So if you guys want to bookmark that, you'll be all set.
I'm sorry, let me just. All right, cool. As far as trades I like right now, let's jump into the nitty gritty. Sorry, let me just respond to this in the chat. Last week I told you guys O'Reilly, a little equal sign here. O'Reilly was our top Apex signal of the week. We'll go ahead and take a look at that now. I actually haven't looked at it today. I know that the options were up nicely, but let's go look at O'Reilly. Oh, one of the few stocks holding strong today, of course. So here's where we currently sit with O'Reilly. Just a mammoth of a stock. We actually have a new Apex entry currently this week. That's a fun little freebie for you guys. So you can see O'Reilly here. Last week was our entry. It's up higher from there. Our profit target last week was 105.47. So that profit target is still in play. But if you want to trade O'Reilly again, we have a new entry on O'Reilly with an increased profit target of 109.71. So you can see it kind of can work if you're trading the stock as a trailing stop, or if you just want to add a second trade, just use the new target for your second position. So things are chugging along nicely for us on O'Reilly. The new one, though, that I want to share with you guys is Meta. I love Meta. It's been a great stock for us. It smoked its earnings. You guys hopefully saw that. It's one of my top holdings right now. So we have a new entry on Meta with a profit target price of 802.51. That's about $27 from where we are right now. And a stop price of 600. Now, again, let me go ahead and grab my Apex cheat sheet here. And I'll show you guys how we normally trade Meta here. Now, Meta, when it gets an Apex entry, wins 86% of the time, or I should say has won in the past. Average return of 3%. 10-week hold time. Now, Meta right now is moving a little bit faster, but let's go ahead and honor these rules and see if we can make some money on Meta over the next few weeks. So if we were to trade Meta right now, we're expecting a 3% move. I'm definitely going to shorten up that time frame because you can see that's been happening very fast for Meta recently. So let me go ahead and do what it looks like for 3 weeks to hit that profit target 800. So we're at the week of August 8th. Let's go to 29th actually. I'm going to go out of the money here on Meta. I apologize. I got a lot of things open here. So going to be a little bit more speculative of a play because we need Meta to move a little bit faster than it normally does. But I will show you 5 divided by 1.75, 185% here if Meta makes this move. And I'll give you a more conservative one next. But basically, if Meta just repeats what it did here, you make 185% return on investment. Let me go ahead and move this down and see what some of these other prices look like here. All right, I'm just going to use this one here, and I'll type it here in the chat for you guys. Let me pull up my trade sheet. It's making me sign in again. And we will get this going in the chat here for you guys. August 5th. All right. For Apex entry, we're trading Meta. And then I'll give you a safer one next if you want to trade it true to its form. Buy 29th of August, 25, 795 call. Sell 29th of August, 2025 is the year. 800 call. So this will give us about 3.5 weeks for Meta to get to that, just below that profit target, really. Posted here in the chat. Now, visually speaking, this is a weekly chart. So we're giving it to here just to drift higher in the direction it's already headed. If we're right, we make about 107 or 185% return on investment. Now, keep in mind, I told you guys, I expect some chops, some volatility this month. I expect to drop at some point this month. For me personally, that does not mean I stop trading long. I can totally be wrong on that, and markets like to go up. So whenever you're guessing on markets to fall, you're technically swimming against the tide. You're betting against something. You're betting on something that's less likely to happen. So I continue trading bullish. I continue taking trades the same way. However, where I may normally take 5 contracts here on Meta on any given time frame, I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to lighten my position sizing. Just going to do 1 here and send it off on Meta. Now, if you want to trade true to the form of how this Apex strategy works, you would go out about 10 weeks. So you'd look at the October at the profit target here and trade the October options. A little bit more expensive, so a little bit less of an overall payout. But look to do those same strikes just with the October expiration if you'd prefer. Still over 100% return on investment here because $5 is your max gain, over $2.15 net debit. We did have a question, Nate, and I actually like this question because I think it bodes well for you. But we had a question here with the upcoming, and I'll get to the next trade here in a second, but with the upcoming, potential bearishness in the markets, should we ditch the income machine?
Yes, did you completely? No, I was actually someone asked me this over email. They said, what happens with higher volatility with the income machine? I said, well, there's 2 answers. One is that the income machine automatically takes into account volatility because of the way that it's based on the options. So if if the market's moving more, stocks are being more volatile, the expected moves are bigger. What you're going to get are actually bigger cushions. And so a stock might move more, but you also have a bigger cushion. When the volatility is low, stocks might move less, but you have a lower cushion. And because they're moving less, you're less likely to get hit. So it's kind of organically taking into account that volatility. But then the last thing I said, and I think it's important, is if I had to choose, I would choose high volatility because I think trading good stocks, which is all we're going to trade in the income machine, stocks that are moving in the right direction with bigger cushions, is a net advantage compared to trading, with smaller cushions when stocks aren't moving a whole lot. So if you take a high volatility environment where you can get big cushions and you isolate, kind of like what you do here when you're trading Meta, Microsoft, stuff that's moving up, and you combine volatile conditions and bigger cushions with stocks that are moving in the right direction, I think that's the best advantage you can get. So that's kind of what I'm excited for with the income machine. Yes, seasonally the market might move down, but we're not going to be trading stocks that are moving down. We'll be trading stocks that are moving up in a higher volatility market.
And at this will be way in the weeds, but with the increased market maker moves, you're actually going to be able to go further out of the money, meaning you're more protected and still get the same payout.
Yeah, that cushion's going to widen out for us.
Cushion's going to increase for us. So that's awesome. And that's kind of what I was thinking too. But I wanted to hear from you. New hot sheet pick of the week. This is our seasonal pick of the week. Looks like you got a free one there because I just readjusted it. But PWR, it's Quanta Services. Nate, it actually popped up on your scanner you were doing yesterday. So this one is not currently in the seasonal date yet, but it's coming up on the 7th, which is Thursday. So on August 7th for the next 22 days. So 29th, August 7th through 29th, PWR typically gains about 4.5%. They just had earnings, so we don't have to worry about that. And it's been a very strong stock. And like Nate was showing us yesterday, it's one that could be a potential snapback catch-up trade where it's been chugging, 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 chugging. Recent volatility took it out. Now it's at a very strong buying zone. If I were to draw a support line here, you guys can visually kind of imagine it there.
Is this another one that actually beat on the true numbers of the earnings and dropped? There's been so many of those.
Um, Looks like it's right.
Just a hair of a beat there.
It's beat. It was 224 estimated, 248 actually.
10% beat on the
Yep.
on the EPS.
So we know seasonally this one's strong, typically every year for the last 10 years from August 7th to August 29th. It's been a very, very good, it's been a very, very good trend. And we see it's trading at a discount right now. So you can take this one today. I'll take it today for fun, but keep in mind there's only monthly options here. So I'm just going to trade this one with I'm not going to trade with the basic call option. They're so expensive. This puts me in a bind here on the
Wow,
spot.
that implied move even after earnings is pretty juicy there.
Yeah. Let's do
Like
the
3%.
yeah, $19 move by August 15th implied. So it's 10 days to make it, what is that? 6%? 5%?
Just the immediate move there at $11. Wow.
They're implying a big move here, yes. Let me go ahead and take a look here at the chart. And I wish I had weekly options. It would have made it much easier. I would probably, I mean, here's what I'm going to look at. Let's look at 390,400. So it's a little bit more expensive, but basically you're just going to play a trade here if you want to. Again, ideally we would trade stocks have weekly options so we can time up the exit a little bit closer, but let me go ahead and type this one up. So this one's on PWR. We know typically is strong until August 29th. We don't have an August 29th expiration. So I'm just going to play a little bit more conservative here. We know it gains about 5% over the next 22 days on average. So 5 by 4, that's $20. That would put it at 410. I'm not going to trade it for 410. I'm going to trade it for 400. So about half that move over the next week and a half. I'm going to buy the 390 call and I'm going to sell the 400 call for August 15th. So I'll type this and put it in the chat. You can see right here. You can see right here that the price is 440 debit. Our max width, our width here is $10. So that's the most we can close it out for. So if we are right, I'll just put in the current one, 445. You make $124, 124% over the next 10 days if PWR just closes. See my crosshairs here, right above there. So again, just basically sticks with the support zone it's in right now. It can go higher. You can trade it more speculatively. I mean, that looks like a great buy to me to play it to 420, 425. I'm just going to trade a little bit safer here where these crosshairs are where I make my money, make about 125%. So I posted that in the chat. This is a debit spread. Rock O'Neill. This is a debit spread. Just a basic debit spread. So when you punch it in, you should see net debit. Again, we're buying the cheaper ones, selling the more expensive. And this allows us to offset time decay. So typically, you know, buying a call option here, it's $1,000. You need it to get to 400 to break even because 390 plus 10 is 400. So if it gets to 400 by expiration, you make $0. You need it to get to 410 to double your money. I need it only above 400 to double my money and actually do a little bit better than double on my money. So I'm going to go ahead and send this one off. This is a little bit more expensive than the spreads I typically trade. Typically they're $1 or so, but this one obviously has $10 strikes, so I had to get a little bit more pricey there. But that's your hot sheet pick of the week, where we look at seasonally strong stocks. And for Newton, let's jump on over to the old Newton. And let me see. We got some questions on the 60-minute income trade I see here. Guys, just take your entry price, whatever you got filled for, and multiply it by 1.5. That's where you should be on your exit. And I think I just got filled on my exit as well. I heard a ding. I don't know if you guys saw it, but sorry, I'm just trying to answer the questions in the chat and keep this going. All right. For Newton, we're going to flip over here to the personal Newton long scanner. Hopefully you guys have that on your charts. Make sure it's linked up. This one looks like an earnings play. Again, we want to see a good, strong trend like this, but we don't want to come right off the back of earnings. And right now we're in the middle of earnings season. So it looks like a lot of these are going to be earnings. Oof, or an ugly stock. Now this scanner here just shows stocks that just flip positive. Does not show the ones like, let me just pull up NVIDIA, for example. Like NVIDIA's been green for a while, so you won't see it on this scanner. But it is nice. Let me just go ahead and flip over to the stocks I like to trade and see if we can find one here. Oh my word, Oakland new highs today. Yeah, I'm getting sick and tired of this stock.
Yeah, our I think our income machine play on Oklo is like 15% away at this point. Um, what's it at right now? 81. Yeah.
It hit 85 today. Oh,
You know what's weird? Our there's definitely some weird options pricing going on. I don't know if you've noticed with any of your trades, the bid and ask seem even on stocks with decent volume a little wonky. Like I'll give you an example. We have a Raytheon trade on. So if you look at RTX, it basically is flat today, but up and kind of grinding away near the highs, only down about 0.5%. And from a week ago, where it's just kind of grinded up a little bit higher, the options prices have basically stayed identical on this spread. So we have a August 15th 148 150. So pretty well in the clear. And you would think that thing would just be getting near max value as we get closer to expiration. And it's showing basically the same value it was a week ago. So I don't know if any of you guys are seeing that, but I would say it might just be some wonkiness in the spreads. And that's another reason if you throw a limit order in there, if it kind of straightens out, you should be able to get filled even if your P&L isn't showing the right number.
yeah. No, it's definitely want to use that limit order. Have you seen Coinbase? I think we
Yeah,
gotta I think you gotta trade like opposite of what everyone says about Coinbase.
I know. It's crazy.
Everyone said they're gonna have huge Bitcoin holdings, huge smoke revenues. Probably true. Went opposite. All right. Sorry for the distraction there. Let's keep on moving here. I like Amazon right now after I thought they had positive earnings and they tanked, but again, we're just looking for Newton right now. I'm just trying to see if we can pick up one that's in a great trend that we can trade. Oh, look at this, Nate. Our beloved Progressive.
Well, I was going to say, you got to feel good today. Market's down. Apple and Progressive both green. All right. What a
Oh, yeah.
day. What
Yeah.
a day.
Oh boy. Look at this. This is a fun one. It has not happened yet, but if you look at the bond market, it's getting pretty close to getting above average momentum, which we haven't seen in a while here. If you look at the momentum basing out and swinging higher, and same thing with the stock price, we'll see if bonds can break out here on interest rate cuts. All right, sorry. I'm just trying to. Oh, I like Google a lot. Nate's a hater, but I like Google.
I
CME.
am I am a little bit of a hater.
Okay, I like CME. Let's do CME. So here's like a picture perfect stock for trading Newton. If we looked at this yesterday, it would have popped up on the scanner, 8.4 as a new bullish entry. I love this stock. I mean, look at this. Who doesn't? Who can't? Who wouldn't love this stock? It is a financial, which again is not one of the seasonally strong stocks or sectors, but it has been relatively very strong in this 2025 bull market that we're in. It's been one of the best sectors all year long. So let's go ahead and see if we can find a trade on CME here. Oh, and of course, no weekly options. Let me make a new tab here for my Newton bullish entry. I'm just gonna write down CME as a ticker for you guys. You guys can pick the options there depending on what you want to go with. But this was an entry yesterday. Let's see, we have someone saying Citigroup. Citigroup is not green for us on Newton. Let me tighten this up actually. Be a little bit easier to see. All right. Sorry about that. Microsoft has been a good one. I want to find out oh, Shopify, did they have earnings today?
This week is that either today or tomorrow, right? Maybe today after Bell.
Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay.
Before market. Oh, wow. So tomorrow morning.
All right. So basically, if you want to trade it, you're trading today.
All right. What I'm looking for, guys, right now, I'm just flipping through these charts. I'm looking for something that kind of looks like this, really. Where you can see it flipping back. Because then we're going to trade that up. Sorry there. Just because there's nothing really great that was first day on the scanner today. And we might not have something to force. Again, we just want to be more selective right now. Don't want to force a lot of trades. So that's why I'll just stick with CME guys there in the chat. Nate, did you have anything you want to cover here before we get into talking about the overnight market volatility and how we can play that? Again, just as a little heads up, because I'll be bragging about it in Telegram if it works out, and I'll be crying in Telegram if it doesn't. But I do have two earnings plays on today. ANET, which, wow, they're getting cooked right now, and AMD, which is also getting cooked right now. But as you'll see here, expected near 10% move for AMD, expected near 10% move for ANET. So I'm just throwing my retirement account in my one that I can't contribute to anymore, so it's not my main one, just my speculative one, to see if we can get an earnings beat there. AMD and ANET are the tickers, completely speculative.
Yeah, I'm excited about a couple big earnings plays. It'll be interesting. Once again, I always say this, but just to beat the drum, to see how people actually respond to the earnings, I think is really important. Kind of tells you a really good mood and sentiment when good companies are beating earnings and still being sold off. That's often a sign. But so far, I actually think pretty positive. Meta got a good beat and went up. Microsoft had a good beat and went up. Palantir just had a good beat and shot up. So like the stocks that people really like are getting some good beats and they're moving in the direction that they should versus being sold off. Obviously, you do have some of the more speculative ones like Coin and others that got sold off, but I'm less concerned about those. I'm more concerned about the names that people like that have been driving the market that have been going in the right direction. So and I guess just as a transition, because I do want to talk about overnight options. By the way, is there anyone in the chat who's not a member of overnight options yet? You're not actually trading every day with me on these overnight income plays, because today's just such a perfect example of why I love this strategy and why ringing the cash register on these different days is so cool. Like today, we get this ugly looking sell off. The SPY is now down. What point? Oh, dude, we're working on being down 1% on the market. And on that just little overnight move, we hit our target right after market open on a bullish position, got our money, got on the sidelines to put us, I think, 21 out of the last 23 trades on overnight income. And now it doesn't matter what happens the rest of the day. That's exactly kind of what I explained, the power. I really think probably one of the most one of the biggest advantages in the entire stock market that is hiding in plain sight with the way the market actually moves overnight relative to during the day. So that's a lot of what I want to cover, or what I do cover in that presentation. Dave, if you want to cue that up, it's basically exactly what you're seeing today. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's funny, like there's a chart in there that you guys will see, so make sure you're there so you can see the chart, but it basically shows exactly what you're seeing here. Overnight, stocks move higher. During the day, stocks tend to move lower. And that's a phenomenon that you're making money off of.
And it's crazy how consistent it is. And then, of course, the way that we structure the trades to take advantage of it is, where all the magic happens. So, Dave, if you want to play that, again, guys, if you have not traded these with me on a consistent basis, or like Graham said, if you haven't actually seen that chart and the data behind that overnight move relative to regular hours, you want to stick around. Just literally make sure that you look for that chart alone, because that's kind of an eye-opening moment in and of itself. So stick around for that. Dave, do you have that ready to go?
I do, but I think the stream we were trying to do this morning is still grabbing my audio, so I'm trying to get it so I can share the audio of it as well. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
It's just not working with the audio.
All right. Let's give Dave a second there. Yeah, so guys, you'll see it in the presentation. I won't spoil too much, but what you'll basically see is the combination of trade structure, the overnight move, and then using those automated exits. And that's kind of like the three-pronged approach that have given us, all these opportunities, exactly like the ones that, happened today, where we rang the cash register, before opening playbook even started. We had our profit for the day. We were, moving on with our day. Graham traded in the opposite direction and made money on his morning, but it didn't actually matter because of the way that overnight option works. And no, it's not a day trade, Bob. That's one of the kind of the cool things is we're trading overnight. So we're not trading in one day out the next day. So you guys don't have to go anywhere. Dave's going to set it up right here. The entire presentation playing right here in the exact same area you are now. He's just getting the audio set up so that he can push that through. So Dave, you can cut me off if you're ready anytime.
The other thing too, guys, is no shortage of opportunities. Because it's trading overnight and it's trading a daily phenomenon, you get to do it each and every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah,
Right?
you can trade Robinhood, Rock. You can trade. I mean, I have people with Robinhood, Fidelity, E-Trade, Schwab, Interactive Brokers, and everything in between.
Let's see if we got any other questions. Newton is a paid indicator, but I just share some trades in here when we can. I have dots on my video. Yeah, guys, if you are wanting to trade this overnight phenomenon, you do get a new opportunity today and each and every day. So two important things. One, you want to stick around, see the data that you'll see on the chart there. It's what Nate, it goes back to 1993 of a little known market,
Yeah, I mean,
that
it's
happened, an occurrence that happens more often than not that you can take advantage of each and every day.
yeah, it's 30 years of data. So we're not talking about like over the last little while we're seeing this little blip. We're talking about 30 years of consistency with where the market moves are actually happening. So again, when I first saw that chart, I was actually with Chris when I first saw that chart, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I mean, I kind of knew, theoretically. Actually, I knew from like Tom and your mom talking about 24-hour market like way back in the day. Generally, the phenomenon, but seeing the actual data behind it is pretty wild. So you'll kind of see what I mean. I don't want to spoil it because that chart is just mind blowing to me at least. So I don't want to spoil it. Wait, sit tight. You'll see the exact chart that I'm talking about when we play that presentation where it's basically comparing what happens overnight versus during the day side by side on the same assets. It's not like we're looking at like, oh, if you trade these other special assets at this time versus the S&P. It's literally the S&P versus the S&P just looking at those different time frames.
And of course, guys, not every single trade is going to win. You guys know that. We never claim that. Although if you're in Nate's weekend options, every, but
Let's
let's
not.
look at this here. Like, not every trade is going to win. But if we're looking at the actual live trade results so far, so a winner here, what is that? About $1,000. Seven. Let's see. Winner. This was a loser, obviously. Market goes against you, you lose. But winner. So I'm looking at your screen, your trade track over here. Winner. I'm going to go back as far as I can, all the way to 710. So winner each and every day. There was a loser at 710, and then you keep going back, and there was one, two, three. I mean, let me just show you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 winners. Loser. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 winners, one loser. So these are incredible hot streaks you're on here, Nate. Really love to see it, and especially in a day like today, where the market's bleeding out, getting ugly out there. You've already hit, you've made your money.